We're in Buffalo, New York, Sagertown, Pennsylvania, Pataskala, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri.
This butterfly puts 4,000 to 6,000 miles on it. Bet you couldn't do that.
And they're lucky because they don't have to pay for gas. It's a long way to drive just for some butterflies. I got a butterfly. God!
I have really only encountered one person in my entire life that didn't like butterflies.
That's a mama butterfly.
My kindergarten teacher started bringing in monarchs into the classroom, and ever since then I've been hooked. I raised 54 last year, but this year I raised over 100.
If it's got monarchs on it, I will buy it. I kind of have this motto, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. I'm just a little crazy.
Monarch butterflies are something that people connect with. And I'm using the monarch butterflies as a platform to educate people about the future.
And at this point, where do you see our world heading?
Yeah, where are we heading?
Hi there. Thank you for coming to StarNet Studios. I am Andre Tucker. I hope you are having a great day or evening so far. Here with me today, I have Mr. Fraser Jones. He is a busy man. He spent time directing and doing various different projects. He spent time with Nickelodeon. He's worked with musicians, and I'm glad to have him here today. How you doing, Mr. Fraser? How are you?
Doing great. Yeah, I can't complain today. How are you, Andre?
I am just fine. Thank you for coming. So tell me a little bit about, I was looking through some of your work here. Tell me about, you have the Where the Butterflies Go, and it appears to start with, you have a life-changing event, and then you kind of go on an adventure, if you will, to try to help the butterflies, if you will, and you meet a lot of interesting people in your travel. So tell us a little bit more about Where the Butterflies Go.
Yeah, Where the Butterflies Go is this feature-length comedic nature documentary that I'm working on, trying to invent this new genre to raise environmental awareness about a subject that matters, of the monarch butterfly being an endangered species now, but trying to do it through comedy. So the film starts off hopefully with a funny scene of me getting dumped, broken up with right after I quit my job. And then I kind of hit the road immediately. I buy a van and drive up to Canada and then down all the way to Mexico. Just this 3,000-mile journey, interviewing a bunch of people that have really dedicated their lives to conserving the monarch butterfly population. So we meet such amazing people, travel along a big route, and you kind of watch me try to keep it together along the way, and yeah, just make the most out of a trip that has its own challenges, but teaches me a lot along the way.
Now, how long did that take you? You know, from Mexico to Canada. I mean, like this whole adventure. How long did it take you to complete?
Yeah, it's been about a 2-year process now of when I first went to Mexico to start filming, and then we got in the van for a couple weeks a year and a half ago, and then once COVID happened, we kind of had to pause production for a good bit, but we're able to finish up just about 1 month ago at our final shoot in Mexico. So it's been a labor of love for a couple years that we hope to have it out in the world next year.
And what brought butterflies to your attention? I mean, how did that kind of, come on your radar, and you took an interest in pursuing that interest?
Yeah, I first saw the monarch butterflies migrate in Big Sur, California, in Northern California, and I just looked up on this road trip and saw this tree with thousands of butterflies on it. So that just kind of piqued my interest. And made me start researching, like, why do these butterflies migrate together? Why are they now endangered? What can people do to help? So it was all these small steps that I then could kind of use. I could use the butterflies to represent almost a canary in the coal mine of, if these butterflies are becoming endangered and struggling to survive, what else is at stake here? So what larger subject can the butterflies represent?
All right. And so that's some of your more recent work. But before that, I understand you spent some time working on some work for Nickelodeon, Slime Cup, I believe. So how did you get started with that, and how'd that go?
Yeah, so I interned for Nickelodeon when I was at school in New York, and that was always kind of my dream job, is just kind of help write the shows that I grew up watching, that were kind of wholesome children's content with a lot of comedy. Yeah, for kids to watch and learn something after school. So once I graduated college, I moved straight to Australia, to live with some friends over there, and got really lucky by getting a job at Nickelodeon on this action game show they were creating called Slime Cup, that they just needed just comedy writers to come in and pitch a bunch of jokes, basically. So it was, I kind of peaked with my career there, by just getting to do my dream job of write jokes for kids. But then I've tried to funnel that into this project as well, make this butterfly film be something for kids or people of all ages that is comedic and has some physical humor elements, but something educational as well.
Okay, so you grew up and you watched some Nickelodeon growing up. What were some of the programs, either on Nickelodeon or elsewhere, that kind of caught your attention when you were growing up and kind of inspired you today, specifically?
Yeah, I think the biggest influence was the cartoon Hey Arnold for me. Was just such a wholesome just view of like this adventurous child's life, and the community that he inhabits, and just like learning something positive in each episode, I thought was really important and relatable. And then also I loved like sketch comedy shows. Like I think Keenan and Kel was probably the first program I watched in that vein. And to make it full circle, I had Kel Mitchell, who's on Keenan and Kel, ended up being the host of Slime Cup, who I was writing jokes for. So that was kind of like a career high to have this person that I watched growing up and laughed at, and loved his show, and then to collaborate together was really cool.
That does sound very cool. Yeah, very, very cool, especially considering that he currently, as of the moment of this discussion, he has his own sitcom
Yeah.
right now. So, yeah. Now, with that, do you have any sitcom aspirations, or are you more like gonna like, or do you have a preference as far as between that or feature film or anything as far as what you want to do in the future?
Yeah, I'm staying really open. What I'm most interested in is trying to combine things that seem very different, of like comedy, adventure, road trip type films, and then also documentary nature films. So that's the goal with Where the Butterflies Go, is make something that's funny and engaging but educational as well. So if I could turn that into a series afterwards, it would be a dream to keep kind of experimenting with this format, and bring in audiences from both sides. I don't want people that only watch exclusively nature documentaries, nor do I want people that only watch comedy. I think there's a growing demographic that has interest in both, and combining those audiences for more enriching conversations would be great.
Okay, so if someone wanted to take a look at Where the Butterflies Go for themselves, how might they find that?
Yeah, but it's currently a page on my website of fraserjones.tv, and then you can do /butterflies at the end, or just navigate the website. But there right now we just have the trailer that can hype people up a bit before it's finally released next year. And then we always need donations, so that's a link as well. And then my fiscal sponsors I'll shout out is an organization called the Redford Center,
Okay.
who've been promoting it on their website, and just helping me get some much needed donations.
Okay. And I'd also mentioned earlier that you spent time working with musicians, and I just wanted to learn a little bit more about that, especially one particular you were telling me who you were good friends with in school, I believe. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've also, throughout the past years of other work, have been kind of continuously filming a friend of mine named Maggie Rogers, who's a pop artist, much more than that, but kind of electronic folk, really interesting sound. And we went to NYU together, and then she got a record deal with Capitol Records and started touring the world. So I've been really lucky to pop in here and there on tours or just interviewing her about the process, and just a great way for us to catch up and keep collaborating through the years. But it resulted in one short documentary called Back in My Body, where we went on tour in Alaska and filmed that whole experience with another friend of ours, Brendan Hall, and created this piece to kind of show where she was at that moment in time.
Okay, and we'll find that work on your website as well. You want to give that to us one more time?
Yeah, that'll be on FraserJones.tv as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we'll certainly check that out. And like I said, thank you for coming. I appreciate your time. Good luck, especially with where the butterflies go. Look forward to seeing how more of that turns out. And like I said, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andre.